Reading with your kids.
Hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, shalom, mahaba, moni muli wanji, namaste, jambo, bienvenidos. Hi, my name is Jedley, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We are coming to you from the beautiful neighborhood of Reedville in the southwest corner of Boston, Massachusetts. We are so grateful that you are joining us in our mission to help kids grow closer through reading. Please be sure to subscribe to the show on the iHeartRadio app, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you find your podcast. Our guests today are Danielle LaRosa. She's here to celebrate When I Grow Up, I Want to Be a Song. And a little bit later on, we are going to be going to the United Kingdom to meet the home cool kids. Before we invite Danielle into the studio, we want to invite you to visit our website, readingwithyourkids.com. Be sure to sign up for our free newsletter. Find out what's coming up on the show. We have all sorts of fantastic things coming up on the show. We don't want you to miss a minute. And also, please connect with us on social media, facebook.com/readingwithyourkids, at Jedley Magic on Twitter, at readingwithyourkids on Instagram. Join us right now from North Jersey. Our guest is the author of When I Grow Up, I Want to Be a Song. Please welcome to the show, Danielle LaRosa. Danielle, how are you?
I am very good. A little nervous, but very happy to be here. Thank you.
I'm really excited to have you on today. When I Grow Up, I Want to Be a Song. What a neat title for a book.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it took me a little while to come to that, but I love it. I think it's kind of intriguing because you can't really grow up and be a song. So I think that's a little bit of the fun of the story.
Yeah, that was my first thought. I said, this is a neat title, but what does it mean? What does it mean to grow up to be a song?
Right. So it's about a little girl. Her name is Maggie, and she loves music, and she loves to sing so much that when she grows up, she thinks she wants to be a song. And the story takes you through a myriad of different song titles. So am I going to be a tiny dancer? Am I going to be a material girl? And there's different song titles throughout the book, like subtly placed, that I think some of the parents or the grandparents doing the reading will really get a kick out of as they are reading the story to their special child.
Yeah. I picked up on a couple of those. I don't know if I'd want my kid growing up to be a material girl.
Right. Maybe that's not the best choice. And then at the end of the book, there's a list of all the writers and the songs, and it says, find a few songs that might sing to you and play them with your family and see what you think. So just a good way to introduce music to the kids. I love music so much. So that's what inspired me to do it.
Yeah. I also want to get into music and your love of music. But before that, I love the idea that we can start talking to our kids early on about choices. And it sounds like that's kind of what you're getting at, is that we all have the ability to grow up and decide what song we're going to be. Are we going to be a maternity girl? Are we going to be, are we going to be the world? Are we all going to be the world kind of thing? And I think that's important, an important message for kids to hear at a very young age, to help empower them to know that, you have choices. You don't have to settle for what it is society tells you have to be.
Exactly right. Like, you don't have to decide right away what you want to do. It's okay to change your mind. You can play with different ideas. I was a school teacher for 10 years, and then I've been a mom, and now I'm an author. So you can do more than one thing. You don't have to have one song. I think it's just fun to explore different things that you would like to try.
Yeah. So what is it about music that has so inspired you?
I think I was just introduced to it at such a young age. My mom, I remember this picture of me and my sister, she's a year older than me. We had to be 4 and 5 holding these guitars, and my guitar said Willie Nelson on it, and her guitar said Pavarotti on it. And we were just strumming these guitars with outfits on and walking through the house. And my father always had on Patsy Cline, and my mother would have on Willie Nelson, and Cousin Brucey back then was the station of all the oldies my mother would have on. And we would go on these car rides to North Carolina every year to spend time with family. And we would play Kenny Rogers' greatest hits the whole way there and the whole way back. And I probably know every word to every one of those songs on that cassette tape. And it was, I have such good memories of music. And my mother would take me to concerts. I was at a Kenny Rogers concert, I think I was 7. And I remember her nudging me to wake me up because the Gambler came on as like the encore. And she, wake up, it's coming on. And just throughout my life, we would just, I'm an avid concert goer now. We take my kids to concerts, Jason Aldean concerts they've been to Luke Bryan concerts. It's a big part of my life. And it connects me with my mother, who was very dear to my heart. And she passed away about 10 years ago, and her name was Maggie. So there's the homage to her there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember being in college, and my mother came down to visit me, and she had the new Tim McGraw CD in her hand, and she said, I bought this for you. You have to play it. Listen to this song. It reminds me so much of you. And it was always how I connected with her, especially, but with people. And I think that's a big point too, right? Like, I say this a lot, and books and music are so similar because they connect us with each other, either through the lyrics of the song or the lines of a story. It's just how we connect with people. Mm-hmm. And I love that so much about music.
Yeah. And I really love, as you're describing, you know, we talk about the importance of reading with your kids and the benefits of reading with your kids, and we remind parents that just because your kid can read independently doesn't mean that it's time for you to stop reading with your kids. And I'm always hoping that parents get the idea that reading with your kids is the start, because it can open up the door to cooking with your kids and exercising with your kids and listening to music and going to concerts with your kids. You don't see it. Well, it depends on the genre of music, but you don't see a lot of families going to concerts together. For one thing, it's incredibly expensive to do that. But, I mean, it's something that as I've traveled around the world, I see it more, the intergenerational stuff. I see it happening more in places like Puerto Rico and Costa Rica, where it's quite normal for a family to go to a concert together, and you see grandparents and little kids and parents all together kind of dancing to the same songs. Here it's kind of like, well, parents have to go to these concerts and kids go to these concerts. And I love that your family was able to share that gift of music and experience it together.
Yeah, we do. We enjoy it so much. We love doing things like that together. I mean, there are concerts I leave with just me and my husband or me and my friends. But, yeah, we do. They love going, and it gives us a commonality. You know, the songs come on the radio and they can associate, oh, I remember hearing him play that at the concert, and wasn't that awesome when the lights went on and the fireworks were flashing, and it's conversation starters, and it's connection. Yeah. Exactly,
that connection. I was just explaining to somebody earlier today, they're asking me what inspired me to create the podcast, and it was that connection that we build with our kids. And that's what I wanted to share with parents, is just helping them understand how important that connection, that bond that happens when your kids are sitting on your lap and you're reading stories to them. And, you know, and then thankfully I learned that, we also learned vocabulary, we learned empathy, and learn all these other great benefits. But that bonding, that connection is so very, very important. And I'm really happy that you're helping families understand that it's, you know, you can do that same thing through music and through movies and through sports.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So you were a teacher for 10 years. What was that like, and was it difficult for you to walk away?
I was a teacher for 10 years. I taught special needs elementary school in Bergen County, And I loved it. I loved it. I loved the ladies I worked with. The kids were great. And it was hard. It was hard to walk away. It wasn't a split decision. It wasn't a no-brainer. I had my first baby, and he's 13 now. And I had every intention of going back. And I think a lot of people do. I just was going to go back, and I was going to go back, and then I didn't go back. And I just didn't want to lose that bonding time with my son. And then I got pregnant with my second, and same thing. And I got pregnant with my third, and then I was home, and they just became, my entire world, which I love. Mm-hmm. And but even in the classroom, like, when I was a teacher, we'd always have circle time in the morning, and it was one of my favorite times of the school day. And we do the calendar and all that, but we would all sit together and we would read a story together. And that would just start the connection and the questioning and the answering and the back and forth and the character development. And it was such a great way to just start the day. It was relaxing. It was easy. They looked forward to coming in. And we all played music all the time too in the classroom. We played a good morning song and a month of the year song and a day of the week song. So it was, I always had those two things connected. And now fast forward years later, and I'm trying to connect them again. But
that's so neat. We typically, we're talking with families and a lot of times families, when we talk about reading with our kids, it's always the last thing we do at night. It's the kind of bedtime thing, but it's not a bad activity to do first thing in the morning either.
I know. I mean, the morning rush is crazy.
Right.
I get that. But to not have to rush out of bed and just sit in bed for 5 minutes and kind of get used to the day and have a cup of coffee and read a story with your kids. It's a nice way to start the day.
Yeah. This literally is the first time I've been thinking about this. What a great way to kind of be intentional and to just choose to start the day in a humane way, humane to yourself, kind to yourself. It's like, I know we have a lot to do and we don't have a lot of time, but I can wake up 5 minutes early and we can sit down and our day doesn't have to be crazy. And I'm imagining that if families were and adults were to take the time to do that, maybe their days would be less crazy.
Yeah. I mean, we're so used to getting, jumping out of bed like a shotgun out of bed and come on, we have to go. Like just a couple extra minutes, right? Mm-hmm. And just either sit in a chair or I would sit in a bed next to my daughter and just, there's always a book on the nightstand, always, and just pick it up in a couple of minutes. And then we kind of ease into the morning, which is so nice for me too.
So you mentioned being a teacher for 10 years. You're teaching again, and you were a teacher for your kids, obviously, but you're teaching again, and now you're teaching through your books. Have you thought about that? Were you aware of that as you were writing When I Grow Up, I Want to Be a Song, that you were creating a story, but you were also creating and sharing some valuable messages?
I didn't think of that until it was done. And I was in April's class and we were talking about what value, your books can bring to teachers or to parents. And when we sat and had discussions, I was like, yeah. And then I really started thinking about that it is a teachable moment. It was a teachable book. So, yeah, that wasn't really in my mind as I was writing it down. But once it was done, then I really started thinking about that.
Yeah. I know this is your debut book, but I love the fact that earlier on when you're talking about your journey, you mentioned being a teacher and then a mom, and you're still a mom, and then you gave yourself the title of author. So when I hear that, I'm thinking that this is your debut book, but it's not one and done for you. It sounds like you're intending to continue to write books for kids.
I think I caught the bug. I love it. I have so many ideas. I have a lot of half-written things shoved in a drawer. And, I think I will write more. It lights me up. It's been a long time for something to light me up. And this really does it. Besides the kids, and of course, I love watching them grow up and doing their activities. But yeah, this is fun for me, and it's just mine, and I love that.
That's wonderful. Well, we're really excited. I know people are going to want to know where they can go online to connect with you and to learn more about When I Grow Up, I Want to Be a Song.
Okay, so I have a website. It's www.daniellelarosa.com. I am on Instagram, Danielle_LaRosa_writes, and I'm on Facebook, just Danielle LaRosa. I'm active on the platforms. So yeah, reach out to me. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the title. I'm releasing the cover reveal very shortly. So that's coming. And then the book will be out June 25th. It will be live on Amazon.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And June 25th is my mother's birthday.
Oh, so neat. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No better way to celebrate her than that.
Well, we've had a great time speaking to the author of When I Grow Up, I Want to Be a Song, Danielle LaRosa. Hey, Danielle, thanks so much for being on the Reading with Your Kids podcast.
Thank you so much, Jed. I had a great time.
Hey, before we invite the home cool kids into the studio, if you're an author of a fantastic children's book, we would love for you to be a guest on the podcast. Being a guest, it's fun, it's easy, and it gives you the chance to tell thousands of people about your fantastic children's book. All you need to do is to go to our website, readingwithyourkids.com, click on the Authors Click Here button, slide on down to be a guest. Right now, over to the United Kingdom to meet the home cool kids. Joining us right now from Birmingham in the United Kingdom. I'm really excited. We have 4 amazing young people with us. They launched an online magazine called Home Cool Kids. Please welcome to the show Zaya, Mahanor, Lauren, and Dia. My friends, how are you all?
We're good, thank you.
I love that. It's like harmony. It's like you guys could be at like a K-pop band. Well, let me go through first. Why don't we start by saying hi to Zia. Zia, I understand. I have a hard time believing. It says here that you're 10 years old, but we've been speaking, and I suspect you're a lot older than that. But I'll take you at your word. Zia, can you tell us about Home Cool Kids?
Yes, my name is Zai.
Zai, I'm sorry.
Yes, Home Cool was launched in May last year, except it wasn't a magazine at first. Our parents suggested that we make a memory box of our lockdown experiences, but me and my sister wanted to make something a bit more fun, and because all the news in those days was quite negative, so we decided to do a magazine. At first, it was going to be on paper, written, but it would be hard to print it and distribute it in that time. So our mother, Vinny, decided to make an online magazine or an e-zine because it would be much easier to distribute and make. So we jumped at the idea. We launched our very first issue, but first the name was going to be Open Up because lockdown. Mm-hmm. We decided to reverse it, but then we decided to call it Home Cool Kids because we were being homeschooled but also doing cool things. So the first issue, when we put it on social media, it was a big hit. It was a huge hit by everyone. So we made another issue. The second issue, we were joined by Mahanor.
Wonderful. Mahanor, tell us, what was that like when you were invited to be part of Home Cool Kids?
It was really exciting because I never dreamed of being in a magazine. Being in a magazine would be really cool because you're basically famous. So I got really excited. And my first contribution was in the second issue, and it was an article on Eid in lockdown. Eid is a celebration, a religious celebration, and it was mainly about how we couldn't see our friends and family and exchange presents like we would normally do. We had to send them in the post. And I've continued contributing. So I did an article of gardening in lockdown, which is in the 4th issue. And that focused on how we were gardening in our back garden and how it took our mind off the worries of lockdown. And I've also done some artwork for Home Cool. So I've done my adaptation of Van Gogh's Starry Night. The inspiration of that was when me and my family went to the Hippodrome, which is a theatre in Birmingham, and we saw Van Gogh alive. And Zai and Zazq were doing the Christmas issue. So I thought, why not do my Christmas adaptation of Starry Night? So I did that. And I've also done the front cover of the latest issue. And it was of 2 birds because the slogan was, fly high, keep your spirits in the sky. So I thought when you think of flying, you think of birds. So I asked my friend Lauren, who was doing an article on bird watching and her love of birds. And she said, she asked me if I could do a blue tit and a sparrow because I think those are her favourite birds. So that was what I did first. And then I've done a bird feeder as like an activity in the magazine. And yeah.
Oh, cool. And Lauren, you are also 10 years old. And Mahano just told us you love birds. What kind of articles have you been writing about birds in Home Cool Kids?
Well, my first issue was Stick a Pick, which is kind of like colour by number, but using stickers instead, where there's like set numbers and stickers at the back, and you make a picture. And then my next issue, Camping Chronicles, was all about how I managed to go camping in August, and it was a lot of fun. I did another story in the same issue, I think. It was about how to make, like, really delicious cookies. And my most previous one, Fly High, was all about my rather rapidly expanding love for birds. And I watch for hours in my bedroom window because I have a good view of my garden and my neighbour's garden because he puts out bird feeders, which attracts lots and lots of birds.
Wow. What is it about birds that you love so much?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. I think I just love how they can go anywhere, and even though nature kind of can be a struggle for survival, it's still, I think birds reflect how high you can go and that there isn't really a limit to what you can achieve.
Wow.
Because if you just think, one of my favourite pieces is The Lark Ascending, which a lark is a type of bird, and it's just going upwards, and it goes on for about 20 minutes, which makes me think that the lark is going really, really, really high. And then that makes me think, well, if the lark can go really high, that's kind of like a metaphor for how high you can go. Like, don't let anything stop you. Don't let the clouds stop you. Don't let planes stop you. Just zoom around them and just keep on climbing.
Yeah. Oh, great advice. And we haven't spoken to Daya yet. Daya, I understand that you are a big Harry Potter fan.
Hi, but my name is pronounced Dia, and yes, I am a very, very big Harry Potter fan.
Well, and I'm being very sincere. I'm really happy that you corrected me when I mispronounced your name. I think it's so important that we stand up for ourselves and let people know how we want to be addressed. So, Dia, thank you for that. Did I mess it up again?
No, you said it right this time.
Awesome. So tell me about your love for Harry Potter.
So, I It actually started out when I was in the playground and some of my friends were just babbling and gossiping all about Harry Potter. And then I was like, stop with the Harry Potter. And my friend came over to me and said, come tell my friends to stop talking about Harry Potter. So I did, but then my friend's birthday came, and because she really likes Harry Potter, I decided, because she can have a real birthday party and I couldn't give her a real present, I would read a book that she really liked. So I started reading the second Harry Potter book, which is the only book that I have. Then after a couple of days, I was captured. I loved it. I took quizzes on it, and then I went back. Then I read the third one, and then the first one, and then just so on, and the play script. And I've read them all, but I'm thinking of reading them again, but I know that I'll never have the same lovely feeling of turning a new crisp page and finding out that something new happens.
I love that. I love speaking to you four amazing young people. You have so much energy. Zai, I'm wondering, what's it, Mahano talked about, being famous and as part of the magazine. Where has the magazine been downloaded to? Do you have an idea? Are most of your readers in the United Kingdom? Do you have readers all over the world?
Well, we have readers all over the world, but we also have stories from all over the world. We had a tennis story from India in one of our issues. It's and lots of people have read it. We distributed the stories via WhatsApp because it's easier than doing it on something else, and it's actually great that we're not just getting readers in the United Kingdom, we're also getting readers elsewhere, and we're also having a podcast from you in Boston.
Yeah, and Mahanoa, can you? Are other young people around the world able to contribute articles and ideas to Home Cool Kids?
Yeah, they are. And I think we're currently trying to expand the number of people contributing, because I think it'll be really fun to have lots of articles on other struggles that children have. And we have an email address called homecoolkids@gmail.com, which is what we use to access our website. And on our website you can see all our stories and all our magazines. And we send stories to Binny. And children from around Birmingham send stories to Home Call. And yeah.
Yeah, cool. And so I guess, Lauren, what's the best way for somebody to subscribe to Home Cool Kids?
Well, I'm not entirely sure, but I guess if you just keep update with our website, www.homecoolkids.com, it's free to download the websites, the issues, and you can read them. You just need to download them, and then you can read them whenever you like. And if you keep up to date with our website, you'll find that we are doing blogs every week or so, and we're putting issues on there quarterly, and we're working with local schools to find stories and get inspiration. And our next issue actually is going to be written by some pupils from a school that we have a relatively strong connection with.
Well, that's wonderful. Daya, is there something that you are really looking forward to contributing to the magazine that you haven't quite created yet?
Well, I really love contributing, and I want to contribute recipes, and I want to contribute more, because I've done, one was kind of, my first article was, which I did with my younger sister, about Diwali in lockdown, which is another religious festival, and we did it half and half, and then the next issue after that, I did something Harry Potter, and I hope that I can do something which is a bit more of a story. I'm not sure, but I just want to do more like DIYs and stuff that you can do at home, because even though I don't, because I'm busy with studying and stuff, I don't usually find myself very bored, but I come up with good ideas to solve boredom.
Hey, what's your favorite recipe that you're looking to share?
Well, I'm part of a brownies, like a Girl Guides thing, and we once had to bake a story, and I made these using a peanut butter biscuit recipe. I did a Harry Potter Dobby the Sock elf biscuits, and because I love Harry Potter and I like peanut butter biscuits, I can just I think it would be a good thing to put on there because it's a mix of Harry Potter and recipes.
I can't argue with you at all. I agree. Just real quick from everyone, do you see yourselves continuing with Home Cool Kids after the pandemic passes? Do you think that this is going to go on, or do you think you'll be busy with other things?
Good question. Yes, we will continue this after the pandemic because we can't stop now when there's still a long journey to go. When a road ends, you have to start building your own road and start paving through.
I agree. I have a feeling, Zai, that one day that we're going to see you in a position of leadership, perhaps the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
Thank you.
Well, I'm really excited. 10 years old, coming out, putting together a great online magazine that is reaching kids all around the world. Mahano, what's that like when you sit down and you think about there are kids in the United States and Australia and India reading our words? What does that make you think?
I think it's a very nice feeling to sit in your bed or on your sofa and thinking that you've made something that hopefully other people around the world will really enjoy. And I never thought it would come this far. You're from America and we're doing a podcast, and that's absolutely amazing. And people around the world will hopefully really enjoy our magazine and hopefully realize that they're not alone and we're all going through this pandemic and we're all going to come out together and we're going to make ourselves stronger.
Absolutely. I love that. And I can't think of a better sentiment to kind of end on. We are going to get through this together, and we are going to make a better world. I'm really, really happy that I've had a chance to meet you all. Lauren, make sure I'm not making a mistake. I've mispronounced so many names today. I didn't mispronounce yours, so I'm proud of that. But Lauren, am I right that kids can learn more by going to your website, homecoolkids.com?
Yeah. Yes, I think we have a contact us page. We have regular issues quarterly, and
Yeah.
If they want to contribute, then they can email us, and they can send stories. And we have a fun page in our magazines, which maybe the children can print out and colour in, and they can do crosswords and stuff. So we've got a lot to keep them entertained.
Well, that's wonderful. Dia, can you do me a favor, please, Dia?
Yep, sure, anything.
I'm not sure if you're able to because of social distancing, but if you are able to, give all of my friends over there in Birmingham a big high five, or at least, a virtual high five. I'd really appreciate it.
Yes, I would like to do that, but I guess strangers I could pretend to high five because I'm not really sure who your friends exactly are.
Well, I was speaking about the 3 other people that you're with right now.
Oh yeah.
High five, everyone! High five!
I've had a great time speaking to our friends from. I lost my train of thought. We've had a great time speaking with our friends from Home Cool Kids, Zai, Mahanor, Lauren, and Daya. My friends, thank you so much for being part of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you!
Please be sure to join us for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Our guest will be Brady Smith. He'll be here. We hope you'll join us too. Want to thank the folks who made today's show so wonderful. Of course, want to start by thanking our guest, Danielle LaRosa. Please be sure to check out When I Grow Up, I Want to Be a Song. Also want to thank the gang over in the United Kingdom, the Home Cool Kids. Be sure to check out their online magazine. Also want to thank my team, Alejandra Doherty, Fatima Khan, Helen Frazier, Justina Thompson. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support she gives me. Most of all, we want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And as always, thank you so very much for taking the time to make the world a better place by reading with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.